Hello, my name is Jeff Brown, and my pronouns are he, him. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Manhattan. We are a diverse, evolving spiritual community acting for a better world. We strive to shape this better world not only through actions, words, and deeds, but through sharing our creativity with one another through inspiration and expression. Sharing different creative pursuits strengthens us as a community. It gives us mediums in which we can share sublime joy, crushing sorrow, sadness, happiness, laughter, tears. It can motivate us and inspire new sparks of creativity as well. Our covenant reminds us that our congregational life provides opportunities to practice working together, cooperatively and in friendship, keeping the greater good of the whole at heart. We approach each other with goodwill, allowing for mistakes, and with an expectation that we will forgive each other. And what better way to practice this cooperation and friendship than to share in a joyful cascade of the sparks of creative inspiration? If you are here in person and have a joy or a sorrow you would like to have shared later in the service, please write it down. You can find joys and sorrows papers in a box on the seat nearby. We'll pick it up later to read aloud. If you're here on Zoom, we'll invite you later to type it into the chat. Welcome visitors and newcomers. Please chat with us after the service. Our in-person greeter, Shirley Holbrook, back there, and Zoom host, Linda Johnson, are especially available to answer any questions.
My name is Megan Hartford, and my pronouns are she, her. Indigenous peoples hold the view that humans are stewards of the land, that instead of owning it, we are responsible for caring for it. One immediate way we can all be responsible for caring for the land is to contact our representatives in Congress and demand that they block the bill that would make over 250 million acres of public land in 11 Western states eligible for sale. To reflect this belief that we should steward rather than own, and to honor those whose land we reside on, I will be reading first The Moment by poet and author Margaret Atwood, and then Once the World Was Perfect by Joy Harjo, a member of the Muskogee Nation and the former Poet Laureate of the United States. The moment. The moment when, after many years of hard work and a long voyage, you stand in the center of your room, house, half-acre, square mile, island, country, knowing at last how you got there and say, I own this, is the same moment the trees unloose their soft arms from around you, the birds take back their language, the cliffs fissure and collapse, the air moves back from you like a wave and you can't breathe. No, they whisper, you own nothing. You were a visitor time after time, climbing the hill, planting the flag, proclaiming, we never belonged to you. You never found us. It was always the other way around. Once the world was perfect. Once the world was perfect and we were happy in that world. Then we took it for granted. Discontent began a small rumble in the earthly mind. Then doubt pushed through with its spiked head. And once doubt ruptured the web, all manner of demon thoughts jumped through. We destroyed the world we had been given for inspiration for life. Each stone of jealousy, each stone of fear, greed, envy, and hatred put out the light. No one was without a stone in his or her hand. There we were, right back where we started. We were bumping into each other in the dark. And now we had no place to live, since we didn't know how to live with each other. Then one of the stumbling ones took pity on another and shared a blanket. A spark of kindness made a light. The light made an opening in the darkness. Everyone worked together to make a ladder. A Wind Clan person climbed out first into the next world, and then the other clans, the children of those clans, their children and their children, all the way through time, to now, into this morning light, to you. I just didn't tap that hard enough. Okay. Is that good? Okay. I'm going to be reading Noticing by Kobe Yamada, illustrated by Elise Hurst. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? It seemed as if someone was talking to me. It's okay, I guess, I replied. Just okay? A woman sitting nearby responded. Why, we have the birds, the trees, the sky, the questions, the what ifs, and the why nots. I'd say this is indeed an exceptional day to be alive, don't you think? If you say so, I shrugged. It seemed like an ordinary day to me. Are you a painter? I asked. I like to think of myself as more of a noticer, really, she answered. I just try to make things from what I see. It is my way of appreciating and honoring them. As I looked at her canvas, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How could someone create something so amazing? I wondered. She was definitely a painter. She looked over to me and asked, when you look up, what do you see? Clouds? You see clouds? That's all just clouds? The painter asked, astonished. I think so, I said, uncertain, as I scanned the sky. Why? What do you see? Oh, so much, she said excitedly. It's like the whole sky is tempting me to be amazed. I see wild horses running free, and upside down castles I see whales flying like songbirds and a dragon breathing fire. But it's not only that, I'm filled with butterflies of excitement. It feels like an adventure is unfolding and I don't want to miss any of it. I stared up, wanting to see what she saw. The more you pause and allow for the extraordinary, the painter explained, the more you find it. And often what we see depends on what we look for. Take this mountain, for instance, she gestured to the horizon. A climber might see a great challenge. A scientist might see the movement of an ancient glacier, and someone else might notice the cool breeze traveling from its snowy peaks. Though we all may look at the same thing, we don't always see it in the same way. That is true for mountains and also for people. When we look at others, we may see their faces or their clothes, she continued, but we are only seeing a tiny piece of who they really are. We often don't notice the important things, like their capacity for love, what they hope for, what they dream of, or who they can become. We can often miss the most beautiful parts of them. I wondered what I wasn't noticing. I wondered what I was missing. What do you see in you? Asked the painter. I looked down at my hands, my clothes, my shoes that were a size too big so I could grow into them. Just a kid, like any other kid, I suppose. But you are not like anyone else. In fact, there isn't another person exactly like you anywhere, the painter encouraged. And the amazing thing is, there never has been and there never will be ever again. I'm not sure there is anything all that special about me, I said. Oh, but everything is special about you. There really isn't a single thing about you that isn't extraordinary, she shared enthusiastically. You are the rare and unique combination of what was and the bright possibility of what can be. And you know what? So is everyone else. Everyone shines and needs to be seen. Everyone wants to know that they matter, that there is a place for them, that they are needed. Sure, some may hide their brilliance, but the light is in there, always flickering, and it is a beautiful thing when we can reflect it back to them. I always looked forward to my visits with a painter. I had to admit, as much as I couldn't wait to see her, I also couldn't wait to see what she saw. On one occasion, I went to go find her, and she was sitting peacefully with her eyes shut. What are you doing? I asked shyly, not wanting to interrupt her. Hello, you, she smiled and waved me over. Some days I find that I can notice even more when I close my eyes, she explained. The gentle rustling of my hair, the ideas dancing in my head, the sunshine on my face, and the wonder of being alive. She invited me to close my eyes. What does home look like to you? What does kindness feel like? What does love look like? The painter asked. What does it feel like to have a friend? What does it look like to be one? One of the most important ways we see is with our imagination. So many significant things cannot be seen with your eyes, but they are very real, and it is vital that you look for and believe in them. I was filled with a feeling of calm and appreciation. It was moving and wonderful. I sat there with my eyes closed, picturing the people and places and things that meant so much to me in my life. One of the best things you can be is interested, the painter shared. When you are interested, you are curious, and when you are curious, you discover things, amazing things about yourself and about the world. The miraculous is everywhere and in everything, waiting for us to notice it, waiting for us to appreciate it, waiting for us to love it. It's been years since that day when I first met the painter. I miss her. I wish she were still here so I could tell her what she has meant to me and how she helped me to look at everything differently. But mostly what I wish I could say is, thank you for seeing me. During reflection this morning, my poetry from my book, Worth Knowing, will be in conversation with Alan and his music. I will read a bit, and then Alan will play for a bit, improvising inspired by the poems I read. And we'll go back and forth like that, letting the poems and music speak to each other and to each of us. After, we will be open for questions and conversation. And the wind is wild. When night comes, or when rain begins to fall, and that old chatter makes the years become distorted and dark, and the wind is wild, choose a free and bare and imperfect heart unmarred by change. Luna. Moths, like the moon, blossom in the deepening darkness. They flutter above, open to the night, wild and solitary. Shadow work. Daylight sings in colors, a touch of scarlet, olive, yellow, orange. The night swallows the light and sings of the grace gathering in the dark. Sky above, earth below. Just after sunset is a resting place. The body stretches to open. The sky and earth wait for life to still. They hang themselves up to go to sleep. The boundless sky, the most exquisite earth, rest, clinging to a love song hidden so deep that only the body can find it. At dusk, questions are carried away by the wind and set free in the rocky hillsides, along the borders of streams, over mountains, leaving behind the distant, fading revelry of the day. On the breeze. The autumn air wafted on the breeze, flitting from tree to tree, willow, poplar, elm, birch, hackberry, and also upon the leaves of rose bushes, following the butterflies along the borders of woods or in open glades, butterflies that were curious about the delicate blossoms of my body. A sacred symbol. Autumn beauty in the golden leaves floating on still water, a sacred symbol of the season. In a golden twilight. An autumn landscape of golden thickets, golden woodlands with leaves of gold like sunshine. And now the leaves are gone. The autumn leaves hanging above the earth are now one with the soil. Low down, where the yellow turn brown and transform into the land, they dream of the winter above. Was once. The glossy bronze carpet beneath the snow was once the whirl of leaves above the land. Winter solstice. With the weight of exposing too much, the sun slowly rises, offers but a glimpse, and is gone. Winter is. Winter is snow-covered, cold and chaste, yet filled with nature's grace, found in the flame-colored shades, apricot, salmon, orange, and vermilion of sunset skies, in the white-edged mountainsides, in the overwhelming beauty of the loneliest mountain road, lined with evergreen leaves. Its beauty is not without honor, and freely tucked away in the spring. As spring approaches, vivid blue skies, the earth bright and buzzing, brimming with the dream of clovers and bees. First, the forsythia. In this season, a lady's fragrant perfume rises from the earth, warming into life. The fragrance of the very breath of spring, of soil just warming into life. No remnants of snowdrifts, no reminders of winter. The surprise at finding dainty spring flowers as warmer suns bring life through dead leaves. Propagation. Wild seeds in the sacred ground, arising from rambling roadsides, curving along country lanes, waking into life. In bloom. Life budding in connection with the soil below. A symphony of pink, like the flushed faces of sweet lovers. Just below. Tangled roots within the garden, hidden just below the conspicuous flowers, generously giving what is in the soil. Like jewels. Beside streams, like jewels from a lady's ear, dewy morning leaves hung, dancing, sparkling in the sunshine. The earth and her soil. Life quietly growing in grassy places, at home in the meadows, ditches, and swamps, devoted to the earth and her soil. In faith. The land, every part of it growing in faith. A baptism. The body healing in the water of slow streams must be remembered. A refuge. Wading into shallow water, we observe the movement of heavenly bodies, conscious of the inner meaning of the ponds and streams. The water beneath leafy cathedral arches is a refuge from what might have been. They are sacred. Weeds along the highway and upon the edge of the lawn, pleasing to the earth, spreading, scattered, banished by most. However, keen eyes see they are sacred. No small virtue. I agree with Emerson. A weed is a plant whose virtues we have not yet discovered. But it is no small virtue to appear, bloom, adapt, and spread with zealous wonder. Like a poet. A wind blows in a whirl, bringing the hillsides to life. The movement of these gales is like a poet's high-flown rhapsody, beautiful and wild. The body held. On the plains, the color is striking. Still green grass from the hills to the lowland meadows. The plains in contrasting colors, dazzling brilliant colors, illuminating and concealing. Colors that mimic the sun. Little attention given to this body, held by the windswept grasses, indistinguishable from its surroundings. Across the open prairie. Meadows of soft, feathery grass bearing the breeze, wrapped in sunshine, with charm enough to hold the dullest eye and leave a lover blushing. An ode to the prairie. The grass is home and filled with a certain magic, a story told by its thread-like spires. And the sun. Under bright skies, the prairie blooms with cheerful readiness, and the meadows are radiant with their blushing loveliness, and the sun, that yellow eye in the sky, can see it all. In a day, rise, ground, open, and leave room to grow. At dawn. The promise of the day opens with the dawn and weaves a web around the one who is ready to take its lessons to heart. A song at sunrise. The buzz of dawn grows. It starts the morning chorus after long periods of silence. It punctuates everything that might feel larger than yourself. Your breath, a familiar refrain, endures. Notice it, a song swaying airily along. In the golden morning. In the golden morning, the earth is paradise, with beauty regarded as sacred, spreading throughout the garden, the meadows, over the grass of dusty roadsides, across continents, sprawling, clinging to the shadowy mountain stream, soaking the open woods, bursting, wandering about the globe, covering it in sunlight. A painted lady. This perfect earth, with its knowing and patience and the movement of its moon. A painted lady marked with a delicate blue, an exceedingly hospitable abiding place, its secret penetrating all. That's all we have for you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, so maybe questions or a conversation, or I don't know, whatever comes up. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And we just met for the first time yesterday morning, and just to kind of go over the flow of what would happen, but that was kind of it. So this was, yeah, truly improvisational, and yeah, thank you.
That was so fantastic. Thank you both so much. Could we hear both of your full names and maybe a little bit about you? Would that be possible?
Sure. Alan, do you want to go first? I've been talking a lot.
Okay. My name is Alan Bell. I'm from Manhattan, grew up here, moved away for a while, then came back to study at K-State. And I'm a composer and a jazz pianist, and I'll be doing my doctorate in music in the fall at KU, so going over crossing enemy lines. But I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, just a lover of music of all kinds, classical, jazz, pop, and rock even. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. He asked if I was in a jazz group. So I have a jazz trio that I perform with. I have a twin brother who's a guitar player, and then we play with a bass player as well.
Okay, my turn, I guess. Megan Hartford. I'm a poet kind of on the side. My day job is a social emotional coach at an elementary school here in Manhattan. I started writing poetry when I was about 10, just kind of off and on, more seriously and more regularly lately. I'm working on my second book right now. And I will have some copies for sale after the service if anyone's interested. And it's also for sale at the Dusty Bookshelf. So yeah, I have 2 daughters, and yeah, that's all I can think of right now.
Question for you, Megan.
Yeah.
So a lot of your poems are very nature-based. Is that just from this particular collection, or is that your primary inspiration?
Well, they're the ones that I kind of like picked out of my book for this purpose to go through the seasons. I'm sure you noticed that it went from like night through autumn, winter, spring, summer through the day. So the book itself is split into 4 different sections. There's existence, expressions, earth, and embodied. It is, I think nature kind of does carry a theme through it, but there's a lot of other themes. I mean, I've found I've been able to pull out different themes for different readings I've done. So the type of poetry I write is found poetry. So I have a source material, and in this case, for this book, the source material were 4 books that were written in 1917, and they're from a series by the Little Nature Library. So one of the books was about butterflies, one was about trees, one was about birds, and one was about wildflowers. And they're like scientific texts. So I spent about a year going through about 1,000 pages, and I just pick out words and phrases to create my own poems. And one of the parameters I keep for myself is to keep the words in the order that I find them, which makes it, like if there's a word I need and it's not there, I have to like rethink the entire poem. I find that those kind of like rigid boundaries help me be more creative, because if it's just like all the words and all the thoughts in the world, it's too much. So I like to have it like kind of funneled down. So because those books are about elements of nature, I think it was kind of natural that like wove its way through my poems. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I knew Sylvia would have a question for me. Unless it's for Alan, I guess. I don't know.
No, this is a question because I just like to blab.
I love to listen to you blab.
Well, so what you're saying about how you construct your poems ties in with that beautiful book, Noticing. And I am an outdoor person, and I felt like I was outdoors listening to your poems. They're really beautiful.
Good. Thank you.
And both of your presentations are so sensuous. I felt, well, with air conditioning, I can actually feel that, but I mean, I felt the elements, the wind, and then I even could feel the warmth even in this cold place. It was just really stunning and moving, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, also, what you said about, I was in my car recently, and there was this man, he wrote a book called Stolen Focus, and he was speaking in Lawrence, and I was there, and I missed his talk, which was the next day. And what you just said about there's just, we are inundated with so much information, it's impossible to assimilate it into something meaningful. Sometimes we're on overload all the time. And so nature is my restorative thing. And so a Muskogee Creek elder told me that there are teachers everywhere, and nature is our greatest teacher. And that is one of the greatest lessons that I've absorbed from somebody. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Not a question, but just thank you. And I feel like it was a great meditation to just close your eyes and listen. I feel like you walked through us through a whole year, and it was pleasant without the whole, chatter about bad things that are going on. So I feel like it was whole year with my eyes closed. I hope I didn't age, but it was restorative.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. So I do like to think about like the poems in my book as like mini meditations. I have friends who keep it on their bedside table and will just flip to one in the morning and read it just as a way to like ground and center for the day. So I'm glad that resonated with you. Thank you.
I like the way that you described that you constructed these poems, that it takes imagination, but with some boundaries. And that is so much like science, that we need great imagination, but it's imagination in a straitjacket of what we already know and what we can already see. And so I've really enjoyed the connection I saw between your poetry and the practice of modern science. Thanks.
Thank you.
I love the contemplative tone that you have, and how you stick with just common words. You're not grabbing things, or you're not saying things like howl. And then the music, it just really was a delight to connect with nature the way that you're guiding us to. So thank you so much.
That I will say, thank you for noticing that. With my poetry, well, I'll say my favorite poet is Mary Oliver. And one thing I love about her work is that it's so accessible and so simple, but and I'm in no way comparing myself to Mary Oliver. But that's one thing I was happy to see the poems come out in a way that I feel is accessible for everyone. There's nothing like, you can go below the surface, but it's just all right there. You don't have to like dig really deep. I think it can be deep, but it's like, I've had a lot of people who aren't really interested in poetry find something in this book, and it's led them to more poetry. And to me, that's like the greatest compliment, that it's a gateway drug to poetry.
I have so much respect for people who can compose and also improvise music, especially on the piano, and Renee too. It's just amazing to watch that for me, because I could never do anything without music in front of me. So I'm curious about like the visualization of the poetry and how that kind of influenced what you played, and is that something that carries on in other times? Do you kind of have images of things while you're creating music?
That is a great question. And the short answer is yes. I actually went through, I was reading through these poems, and I underlined specific images that I felt were really powerful. And so then I thought of sonorities that kind of duplicated, at least in my mind, what that might sound like. So I kind of I wouldn't say I had a plan necessarily, but I just kind of wanted to get familiar with the imagery and have a clear image in my mind. And I feel like a lot of music or musicians, we kind of have that going on mentally a lot of the time when we play. There's something external that's normally inspiring us internally. And same thing when I compose, there's normally a text that I'm thinking about or a specific feeling. Feelings are very kind of powerful as well when creating music. And I feel like it just kind of naturally comes out in that creative process. It's really, in this poetry, like, was just amazing for this purpose, because there's so many, just the colors and like the things happening in nature, the wind, the water, like golden, like all the things that were in it were just like so powerful that it was almost effortless for me to kind of come up with ideas to go along with it. So yeah, it's very cool. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Jen asked the exact question I was going to ask, but I will add to that I did feel a connection between the poetry and your music, so well done.
I'm wondering if we have anyone on Zoom that has any questions or comments. I'm not hearing anything. Linda, it looks like just appreciation. Thank you, Katie, for sharing that. We see that in the chat from you.
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks. All right, we've got a couple more folks in the sanctuary that have some things they'd like to share.
Thank you. This is for you on the piano. I was seeing that you were kind of looking at something, and I didn't know if it was music or...
Oh, no. It's just the text.
That's what I was wondering. Is it, you mean like from what she said?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, how your music came, and it wasn't from notes.
It wasn't from notes. No, not music notes.
What, not music notes?
Not music notes. It was just, I underlined kind of some certain images and things that I felt that I could musically represent. And the rest of it just kind of came from imagination. Just, I suppose, an understanding of how harmony works and how music ties together is what allowed me to create the image, like, I guess, represent the images that I wanted to create. But there's no notes of music or anything on my paper. Yeah, it's a good question, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I think we can move on. Thank you.
All right, let's give Alan and Megan one more round of applause for